Ty Bartel in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we head up to Ashtabula County, home of the Jefferson area Falcons, with the girls basketball head coach, Mr. TJ Furman, joining me today. Coach Furman, how we doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Just got out of practice. I'm fired up and tense. I'm ready to go.
We're talking about practices now, Coach. We're in the thick of practices. How are practices looking for you and your girls right now?
Not bad. This is our 10th practice. Really solid. I'm excited. I have a really good young group of girls, and I'm looking forward for the season to start. So
Let's talk about that group of girls. Get a little meet the team segment, because if anything I understand from last year's team, you had a group, a mix of some seniors, but you had a lot of young talent as well. So I'm excited to kind of meet the team this year. So why don't we meet these Falcons?
yeah, last year I had 4 seniors that did have a little bit of experience, and they left us. So this year I only have 1 senior, so we're pretty young. Mia Contenza is our only senior. She's a real solid basketball player. I have a really good group of juniors. I have 3 of them. Um, I have Riley Franklin, I have Tatum Bordeaux, and I have Trinity Valaqueta as my juniors. Really solid group. Expect them to play a lot. They got a lot of playing time last year. And then I have a load of sophomores. My sophomores, very talented group. I'm excited. Last year in JVs, I think they were 14-8. So they are coming off a very good season, and I'm looking forward for them to lead it into the season. I have Danny Furman. I have Jessica Dreiss. I have Kennedy Rogers. I have Abby Fike. Trying to remember which ones I called off here. I don't want to miss anybody,
No
but
doubt.
I do have like 7 of them, and I'm excited about them. They're a really good group of girls. Leah Vicente is another one. So
Does anything change now in game plan and schemes now that these girls, a lot of them, a big bulk of them, now have a year of experience under their belt?
I think, it does a little bit because they're, learning to read the defenses and reacting to it. And I think that's the biggest thing. Now we need to take the next step up and just be able to react with the defense has given us. I think we could take another level defensively and really put pressure on teams, and try to dictate the way the offense is going. So, yeah, it does change a little bit. I think you can, put a little bit more advanced stuff in and, try to get a little bit more out of them.
Of course, as the season goes on, you're going to learn a lot more about this team. But from the early look and the early onslaught of what you've seen in practices, what looks to be some of the strengths of this team this year?
Some of the strengths, I mean, we're going to live and die off our defense. They're a very aggressive group where we're pretty quick with a lot of the girls we have. And I think we're going to live and die on defense. We're going to really try to be fast paced, push the ball, and just try to, put pressure on teams. So,
One of the exciting things about this season for you guys is you're going back to a local type conference now. So we got a lot of Ashtabula area teams playing inside the county, and I know this was important for a lot of these teams locally. Talk about this conference schedule and what it looks like for the Falcons. How you think you guys are going to fare in this new conference?
yeah, first of all, I'm going to miss all the guys that, I played a lot of years with. I've developed a lot of great relationships in that NE8. So, I'm going to miss a lot of those guys and playing against those girls. It was great competition, but I'm also very excited. I mean, this is a new opportunity for us, especially getting to play each of these local teams twice. It's awesome. And, when you get to play the local teams, you get those local rivalries. And I think just the heat and the pressure of it. I mean, you could have 2 teams totally opposite from each other, and then it doesn't matter. You could throw the records out the door because of the rivalries. And I think the competitiveness of it, I think it's going to be really fun. We have, been able to play them the last couple of years, always on our schedule. But I think now being in a league and adding a new effect to it, I think it's going to be pretty fun.
You talk about the conference schedule too. Now looking at the non-conference slate, I mean, you guys didn't totally forget about the NE8. You still have some opponents from in there. How
I
do you
do.
feel about How do you feel about this non-conference schedule for the girls at
You know what?
competition?
I like my non-conference schedule. I always wanted to put, a few tougher games on there. And I know we were able to keep Lakeview on there. We were able to keep Girard on there. And, through the years, developing that relationships with them. I mean, I also wish we could have threw Poland and South Range on there. Maybe, down the road, we can add them on there. I just enjoy playing that type of competition. I mean, when you're playing in the NE8, you had to battle every single day and show up with your A game. uh, these were teams that were making it far into, tournament play. So it's definitely a battle every day. And honestly, it's going to be a battle with these new teams we're playing. I mean, you throw in the likes of Perry, who's always been in district finals, and you throw Madison in there, who's a tough D1 school. So I mean, we're still going to have that competition. It's just going to be a little different.
No doubt, coach. And when you talk about the type of brand of basketball Jefferson fans can expect this year, what would you say the brand of basketball this team's
Um,
gonna?
I just want us to be hard nosed. I mean, people know when we walk in the gym that my girls are going to give 110%, never going to give up. They're going to be the ones diving on 50 balls and coming up with it. That's my expectations. Making sure we're physical and boxing out every single time, and just being aggressive defensively. And I think that's got to be our MO for us to be successful.
I always love how much support the Jefferson community can give to when they show up and show out. How integral have they been in this just keeping this program to what it's been to? I know you guys had a little bit of a step back last year, but I know this program to be successful too. How integral of
Yeah, no,
this been?
it's very important, honestly. Our fans are very strong. We have a good parent group that shows up every week and, are always there for the girls. We need anything, they're always there for us. Really loud fans. So it's kind of, nice. We can feed off their energy, and especially being able to be locally, and I think a lot more of our students being able to go to the games. I think that's going to be big too. Being able to feed off our student body and bringing back to that school spirit.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that as well. Getting back to just seeing those Ashtabula County rivalries to what they were too, as they were gone for a little bit there for a little
They
bit of
were,
time.
they were.
No, no doubt. And when you look at the girls that you have this year, and you talk a lot about the sophomores, that freshman year, obviously for them, it like you said, it's kind of like a foundation year. You're learning how to read defense. You're learning how to kind of play the game at that varsity level in high school. Sophomore year, what are the things you focus on for this really good and talented group of sophomores now as you transition them from this year into next? What does this season kind
I
of focus on?
Yeah, I just think it's the speed of the game. I mean, when you move from eighth grade to freshman and you're playing that JV level, the speed of that game is so much faster. And I think when you take it a next step more, I mean, when you get to the varsity level, it's even faster. And I think just catching up to that speed of the game. And I'm very lucky. I mean, I have two very good, basketball players coming back in my uppers, and my senior being Mia Contenza. She has a chance to be a very special player and lead us, and also Tatum Bardot. Tatum's put in probably more time than I've had any other girl put in, and she's really tried to work on her, skills, and I think it's really going to help. And then also having girls like Riley Franklin, who is a great asset defensively. And last year I was pretty proud. I always brag about last year. I think our average grade point average was like 3.9 with 16
Wow.
girls. So I think 14 out of the 16 last year had a 4.0. And I mean, I have a lot of them back. So hopefully that helps. I mean, a lot of those sophomores have those grades. Hopefully we can take it on the floor and be able to do some different things. So
You love to see it when they can take care of things as the student part of the student athlete
mhm.
as well, no doubt. Coach, I know a great coach is only as great as the staff that he puts around him as well. You need good support around you. What's the staff look like this year for the Jefferson Falcons?
It's a little bit different. I'm gonna miss one of my longtime guys. He's been with me forever. That was Dave Wright. Really miss him. This year I have a new JV coach. That's Patrick Bordeaux. He has been in my system. He coached the junior high level. Very knowledgeable about the game. Excited to add him to the staff. Also bringing on my brother Rick Furman, who's going to help me out. He also was on my staff, coached at the junior high level. So they're in the system, and I think that's important. Both those guys, I think, you need consistency, hearing the same voices, same terminology, and coming up. And then I have some new coaches down at my junior high level that I'm very excited about. Brandon Hanna, who's a coach of our football team, is coming over. He's going to do my eighth grade squad. And then I have Caleb Horde, who did my eighth grade last year, is going to move down to my seventh grade squad. So I'm definitely very excited about my staff. A very good group of guys that, work hard, very knowledgeable about the game, and tense, passionate, and what's most important, they care about the girls. So
I know a couple of those names as well, and I can attest to that. Great minds and great people overall, no doubt for you guys. Coach, before I let you go, a running theme this year I'm doing with all coaches, and a question I'm asking is the love of the game. It's what brings us all back each and every season, whether we're on the court, whether we're on the sidelines, whether we're in a press box as the announcer. It doesn't matter. It's the love of the game that keeps us coming back. Where'd that love of basketball start for you? Do you have a pinpoint moment or time period that you
um,
remember?
you know what? I think it even goes back to, fourth or fifth grade. I remember just coming up, starting in that youth basketball program and just finding a love for it. I was lucky. I was able to come back and coach with my coaches, which was awesome. I had a great foundation when I was younger. And, growing up in that fourth grade, I remember coming and watching the varsity games, and those guys made a special bond with us. I mean, we used to come practice with the varsity guys after their practice on Saturdays, and they were our coaches. So, it goes back to then, and it's all about building relationships. I can remember those bonds that you made, and then later, having my varsity coach, Steve Losey, who was our athletic director for a lot of years and was our head boys basketball coach. I was able to coach with him and Tim Miser, which was the head coach before Steve Losey. So, it all goes back to that. All those, it was a great group of guys. I learned a lot of basketball, even coming back with the legendary Rod Holmes. You know, uh, he was our head coach here for the girls. Won so many basketball games, and being able to just, sit back with those guys and talk basketball during lunch periods and anytime I could get.
It's that love of the game, coach, and I know we all have it too. And for a lot of us, it is at that young age too, where that foundation and that love first started. I'm excited to see what these young girls and some of the seniors have to offer for this Falcon squad. I know we here at YSN are totally rooting for you, as we're gonna, I'm sure, cross paths. I know Mr. Sammy Torres and his crew up there for us are going to be doing a great job covering you guys throughout this season. And we'll be talking to you again real soon, coach.
Awesome. Can't wait. I'm ready to get started. So,
We're ready as well, coach. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the Jefferson Falcons girls basketball skipper, Mr. TJ Furman.